my name is Lindsay Shuck. Thank you for joining today's Family Office Network's webinar series featuring the Family Office Marketplace. Before we get started, I would like to take a minute to introduce our speaker today, Andrew Schneider. Andrew Schneider is the founder and CEO of Family Office Networks. He is also a leading authority regarding hedge funds and related services, as he was a founding member of HedgeCo Networks prior to Family Office Networks. Most recently, he has developed the platform discussed today, Family Office Marketplace. At the end of today's presentation, we will have time for Q&A. Please use your questions chat option on your screen to send over any questions that you have so we can answer them accordingly.
Thank you very much, Lindsay, and hello to everyone that's on the webinar. And I'd like to just take a minute or two and just kind of give a little background for those that do not know me. I've been doing this for over 25 years, specifically, we'll say, raising money for alternative investments from real estate, private equity, venture capital, hedge funds, and for 20 plus years, I've worked predominantly with high net worth and family offices. And for the sake of this webinar, let me define a high net worth and a family office. A high net worth on our platform is someone between 5 million and 500 million, but that does not have an infrastructure that's helping make investment decisions, versus a family office, which is typically between 50 million to 500 million, but has some type of infrastructure, whether it's in-house or it's outsourced, that's helping make the investment decisions. And this is something that I launched probably about a month or so ago in light of the coronavirus. Raising money from family offices is a very, very difficult, we'll say, task. Most family offices are very reclusive, in some cases exclusive. And over the last 20 plus years, I've built probably the largest Rolodex of, again, ultra high net worth and family offices. And, Family Office Marketplace basically has become the new way that companies or issuers are raising money from family offices and other allocators. And, before the coronavirus, typically what we did was we would do road shows, make personal introductions to private events like lunches and dinners, and a lot of personal introductions. Now, with during this pandemic, you have less and less people that want to travel, and so online has really become the new norm in almost every aspect of our lives, and certainly when it comes to investing. And just quickly, my background, I came out of Morgan Stanley. Prior to that, I founded a company called HedgeCo. I created the largest hedge fund website database in the world. The way I monetized it was I owned a broker-dealer and raised money for about 500 plus different hedge fund products. And that came predominantly from ultra high net worth and family offices. I sold my company about 10 years ago and started my own family office. About 10 years ago, no one even knew what a family office was. And I'm from New York, and I moved down here shortly after 9/11, and we're in West Palm Beach, and we've got locations throughout the country. Now, when I started my own family office, I know most of the family offices in Palm Beach just from doing events, making introductions to different products and services, and About 7 years ago, all I simply did was Google the two words family office and was absolutely stunned that there was only 2 to 3 websites that showed up for a $12 trillion industry. Why is there such a disconnect between family offices and groups that are trying to get access to family offices? And because the industry was so fragmented, I decided to launch family office networks. And the goal of launching family office networks was to basically bring family offices together so that they can share ideas, they can co-invest, and they can just meet other like-minded individuals. And then eventually we started cross-marketing, we'll say, luxury products and services, which has been a huge addition, because if you want to get access to family offices, you can't just go in with investment products. You need to be able to offer, let's say, different luxury products and services, as family offices are the biggest consumers of, again, luxury products and services. Anything from private aviation, yachts, collecting art, to philanthropy, and others which we'll touch upon. When I launched Family Office Networks, I also launched the Palm Beach Family Office Association, because I've been doing events in Palm Beach for so many years. I decided to do just events for the family offices in the Palm Beach area. And what I noticed when I was doing these events, that a lot of the people knew each other because they were members of the same country club or yacht club, and their kids went to the same private schools, and they were also members of the same church or synagogue. And what I found most interesting was that they were talking about local issues. And that's when kind of the light bulb went on and said, you know what, this is scalable, but I need to do this in other locations. So I immediately launched the New York City Family Office Association. Again, doing these very high end events, bringing family offices together in the New York City area, and and basically introducing families to other families so that they can, again, share ideas. Co-investing has been a big growth area, and we recently launched these investment clubs that I will touch upon in a few minutes. So New York City did very well. Then we launched the Boston Family Office Association, Connecticut, Miami, Naples, Chicago, San Diego, and San Francisco. Altogether, we have about 36 locations. In each one of these locations, we have someone, let's say, with boots on the ground, where we do these high-end events, typically at least once a month. If you want to meet family offices, you can't just do one event a year and hope that everyone's going to show up at that event. So we did probably about 250 events last year, 250 events the year before that. And what we've been able to do is build relationships with the local family offices that make up the demographics of those, we'll say, locations. And it's been a great way in building this network by doing these local, kind of smaller, more intimate events. And by doing events in different locations, we've been able to build this massive, we'll say, distribution or network. We typically deal with family offices between 50 to 500 million. I don't really care so much for the billion plus family offices, as there's too many gatekeepers, too much bureaucracy, and you have too many people going after the exact same people. We like the family that just sold their construction company for 300 million, or just sold any type of asset or their business, or had some type of liquidity event, Unfortunately, death and divorces have benefited us in many ways, as you know. And also you've seen the number of family offices grow. I think it's quadrupled in the last 5 to 7 years. And that's for a variety of different reasons. But a tremendous amount of wealth has been created from the social media companies, the stock market at record highs, and you're seeing more and more groups realize that having an account at a Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley is not as valuable as working with someone that specializes with family offices and helps with corporate governance, succession planning, and estate planning, and other useful services that many families need. And when the coronavirus um, um, came, the basically this platform that I'm about to show everyone is, in essence, my personal Rolodex. The people and things you're going to see are all people that we've worked with in some capacity. I am licensed and own a broker dealer, and we've been, specializing for the most part with real estate, venture capital, private equity, private companies, and we don't do any traditional, we'll say, wealth management products. And so, to give everyone kind of a start here in what the platform consists of, I wanted to start with kind of the demographics and who makes up, family office marketplace. So we have our stat page that comes out every month, and from here you can basically see that on average, I'm sorry about this, on average, the net worth is typically about 100 million or so. That's the average, we'll say, family office, and they will say ultra high net worth. We have about 70,000 people listed on our platform here. About 45 to even more are what I call ultra high net worth individuals that do not have an infrastructure that's in making investment decisions. We also have luxury companies, service providers, philanthropy, and luxury again was so important because if you want to get access to family offices, you can't just go with investment products. You need to be able um, to work with other products and services. So luxury again was just kind of a no-brainer for us, as family offices are the largest consumers of both luxury products and services. So just scrolling down here, you can see the average, liquid net worth of, members typically is the 50 to 100 million. But for the most part, it's about 100 million. And the annual income. The information again that I'm going to show you again is information that has been provided to us by these families or these ultra high net worth investors. We're certainly more domestic at this point versus global. You can see we're slightly more male. Average age is about 62. Our demographics is really between 50 to 80 is I would say the range where most people fit in. And up here you can see family office investment allocations. Every month we do surveys just to see where family offices are allocating, if they're increasing their allocations. This sheet was August of 2020. So real estate was by far the largest investment or holding for family offices in August of 2020. Equity or equities, venture capital, and you can see the rest. Luxury items, again, yachts, art, private aviation, travel, etc. And we'll take a gander at all this in a few minutes. So the reason people come to Marketplace is they want to get access to family offices. So if you go to the view listings, we have family offices, high net worth, investment, but we're going to start with family offices. So you click on this, and again, the family offices that are listed on this are personal relationships of mine or someone within my company. These are not just families that we picked out of a phone book. These are ones that we personally know, that have worked with us in some capacity, that have either attended events, that have made allocations into different deals we've shown them. So you could look up family offices, obviously by their name. A lot of people like to look up city and state or city because it's people that they could meet with that are close by. Um, and then the other way you can do searches is investment interest. And this is really the most helpful. Investment interest basically, um, as we speak with family offices, we are very diligent and we take notes and so based on our notes, if a family office mentions that they're investing in private equity, um, and if we have a group that is trying to raise money for a private equity fund or just a individual deal, you click on private equity, and these are the family offices that invest in private equity. Now, if you click on view more information, I'm just going to take a random one here. And this is 2M. I happen to know them personally. They're out of Dallas. Morton Mayerson, someone we've known for for many years, and you can see that they invest in private equity, venture capital, as well as charitable donations. Again, these are our personal notes in that we've made many introductions of different deals to this group, and but we try to give you as much color as possible. And the other way that you can search, which is what we looked at first, is by city and state. So if we did city, let's say West Palm Beach. And let's see if this works. Okay. So in West Palm, we've got ESCO, which again, someone we've known for many years, and um, some of them we have more information, others we don't. This is a relatively smaller family office with 70 million in assets, but they invest in real estate and private equity. So altogether, we have about 4,000 to 5,000 family offices on this platform. And the real value, in my opinion, is the high net worth investors. This to me is, and I don't know anyone that has anything remotely close to this. The high net worth investors, again, as I defined it before, are individuals worth 500 to 500 million, but don't have a infrastructure in making the investment decisions. So if you're a group that's trying to raise a smaller amount of money, let's say under 10 or 20 million, high net worth people are much, much easier to get, we'll say, immediate decisions versus family offices that may have more bureaucracy, more gatekeepers. And so in regards to the high net worth individuals, we have about 70,000. And again, these are all people that have either attended events of ours, and everyone that registers on our site fills out a long questionnaire that I designed, asking everything from net worth, liquid net worth, average size investment. Do they invest in private equity, venture capital? What industries are they interested in? And everyone signs off on an accreditation form. And then before we give anyone access, we personally call, introduce ourselves, find out what they're interested in, and then most importantly, get their permission to be able to introduce different products and services based on what their objectives and goals are. So the way you can do searches here um, is you can do by name, city, state, zip, obviously. So let's do gender. Let's say male, and give this here. And then we click on financials here. So we want net worth, maybe 50 to 100 million. Liquid net worth, 25 to 50 million. You could also do annual income. You could also do real estate value. Luxury, you can see which ones own aircrafts, yachts, which ones are art collectors, and so just to give you an idea of what type of information we have. If you click on any one of these, and it's just a random one here. For the most part, we have their net worth, liquid net worth, annual income, real estate value. For them, in most cases, we have their cell and their personal email addresses. We also have, donations if they've made political or charitable, and roughly how much. This one happens to own a yacht as well. And so we go back to listings, and again, I'm just going to click on a few random people here. There's no rhyme or reason. Again, this is someone in Palm Beach, net worth 50 to 100 million. You can see liquid net worth, annual income. Again, we have their email addresses, phone numbers, and these are, again, not to be redundant, but people that have come to us in some capacity. Usually people that have come to one of our events, people that we've met in person. I personally have been speaking at industry conferences for over 20 years. And so we are, probably the largest family office network out there. And when it comes to raising money, in my opinion, high net worth investors are much, much easier than family offices. So, depending again on how much you're looking to raise and what the product is, and and the fact that you can also search by gender. We have different investment clubs, which I'll touch upon, but one of our investment clubs, the All Women's Investment Club, is by far our fastest growing one, and it's basically women that are investing in women-owned or women-run businesses. So, we can go through this, and again, there's about 75,000 names. We do our best to keep the content up to date and fresh. It's not a perfect system, but it does pretty well in regards to getting access to these individuals. And the high net worth people, again, have given us permission to allow people like yourselves to contact them. It's very rare that we get someone that says, take me off the list, or very, very rare. I think it's happened once or twice in the last 10 years. And now also we're pretty strict in regards to who we let onto our platform and who we let use our platform. So to move on from this, the next one is investment offerings. So if you're trying to raise money for your company, whether if it's a fund or a private company, you would want to list your offering, on our site here. And these are actual offerings that we are currently working with that are actually live. And basically, anyone that is not registered or logged in will not be able to access any part of this site. There are some parts that everyone can access, but the most part you're going to need to be logged in. So you can basically go to any one of these. Let's take StemGenix, a company that we're working with, and basically it gives you a quick overview. You can do the marketing materials. This one doesn't have the data room. Typically, is where the offering docs are. Sorry, this one is not best, but in regards to information, but you as the issuer has your own you have your own profile, and we encourage you to put as much information as possible. But just going back to the investment offerings, you can search by industry. So again, this is meant for family offices and high net worth investors that are looking for deals, because prior to the coronavirus, the way you got access to deals were industry conferences, events, personal introductions. But we have completely changed due to the overall conditions, and this has actually become a much more efficient way. Now, the goal of Marketplace is basically to allow the investor to invest online into the offering, and basically it's a streamlined process. Right now, investing in a private placement is still an antiquated system. I still actually get um, PPM sent to me in the mail that are this thick, and there's other groups that are doing this or do have platforms that can let you invest online and have streamlined the process. The problem that they have is they have no distribution. Our whole company is all about distribution. So to just look up another company, for example, Oxio Health. And again, all different types. This one's a convertible debt. So you can look at the marketing materials, the bios, if they have videos, and the contact us. So again, what makes this very compelling is that we're a global company. So I can show deals to people in Europe, Asia, South America, and North America at the same time. And versus when we did our smaller events, we targeted just local people. So this has really opened just a tremendous, market for us. So this is basically what your offering would look like if you're looking to use our platform to get access to family offices. Then we also have, as I mentioned, luxury and philanthropy. So different charities. Right now, if you take a look, charities, for example, the way that they raised or would raise money is typically doing these large events, these large galas. But right now, that's not happening. So you're seeing a lot of charities, endowments as well, that are underfunded and need access to capital. So, you're able to invest in a charity on Marketplace. It has all the IRS forms. It has everything to make it kind of a streamlined process so that it's easier for the donor as well as it's easier for the charity or foundation. Going back to listings, private aviation. And so this is for airplanes to buy and sell or to charter. There's been a tremendous amount of press recently about the growth of the private aviation industry. As more and more people are still reluctant to fly, you're seeing a lot of people that would normally fly first class are now going the kind of extra yard and flying privates. And really, kind of the rationale there is that it's not so much the planes that you can get sick from, but it's the airports. And there's what's called touch points, and where you're more susceptible to getting the virus. And in an airport, there's a lot more than the actual plane. So So if you have a plane and you want to charter it out, or if you're looking to, to travel somewhere, you can look up these, different planes. You can see the insides. You can see. Sorry if I'm going too fast. Um, you can see the manufacturer, the hours available. Um, and again, it allows you to do this all online and really simplifying the process. So this is the interior. I apologize if I'm going too fast. Um, and this is the content. Going back to listings again, service providers. So service providers such as law firms, accounting firms, insurance companies are all trying to get access to family offices. And typically, service providers, would sponsor some of the larger conferences. Well, conferences are not going on. And so whether you are a issuer looking for a law firm or accounting firm, or looking to set up health insurance, or acquire life insurance, this has become a much more efficient way of getting introduced to, we'll say, really top end providers in our industry. And so the family office investment clubs. This is something that we're still in a beta version, but we'll be rolling this out in the next month or so. Investment clubs basically, as I've been doing this for so many years, and during the course of many of the events I did, I've always had a few people pull me aside and say, "Do you do anything a little more intimate? We love what you're doing, but we're interested in something more intimate." And so I decided to launch the family office investment clubs, and I launched 18 of them, from the Palm Beach Family Office Investment Club to the New York City Family Office Investment Club. And we have specific industries like the Cannabis Family Office Investment Club, the Biotech Family Office Investment Club. Our fastest growing and largest one is the All Women's Investment Club, as that has been growing probably twice as fast as any of our other investment clubs. And then we also have the Harvard Investment Club and Yale. So we've tried a few different things, and it's what advantages you get from the investment clubs are several. One is that a lot of the families co-invest. So let's just, hypothetically, let's just say that you're looking at a biotech deal that is at a $50 million valuation that's trying to raise 10 million. Let's say you have 3 million, and but in the investment club, there's two or three other families that each would put 2 to 3 million up. So then you're able to go back to that issuer and say, look, we could write a check tomorrow for the 10 million, but we want a $45 million valuation instead of a 50. And some people are going to take it, some aren't, but at least the opportunity's there, as well as due diligence. And I can't express enough on the due diligence front. Someone like myself, I don't have the time. And there's a lot of people out there like me that are investors, but we just do not have the time to vet deals. So typically in the investment clubs, you have a few people take on that role. And it's something I will probably do a separate webinar on, because it's been growing so fast, and certainly down here in South Florida, that's the way the majority of these deals get done. It's a few buddies, whether they're golfing buddies or just friends that have invested in deals together. But that's, looking at my past and track record, by far that's where we've gotten the most. We raised the most amount of money was through co-investment opportunities. And going back to the few listings, luxury, and again, the whole reason I did luxury, was to create more eyeballs and to create just more traffic to the site. Now, you take a look, for example, at art. Art Basel, which is every December here, has been canceled. So, how can artists or galleries get different works out there? And we have our whole kind of art listing. So if you're looking to sell a piece of art or buy a piece, this is a great place to go. Same with classic cars, jewelry, yachts, and yachts. We could say the same thing. It's you can either acquire a yacht. Or you could charter a yacht, and you can actually, acquire it right on our site. We have all the forms for, the private aviation. We have all the government forms, everything that's needed to actually make a transaction complete. So this would give you all the information, on this yacht, and if this is something that you are interested in. Um, and this is why people come to our site, because we have a combination of investment opportunities as well as, we'll say, luxury products and services. Now, there's just a little bit more about our company. We have our Family Office magazine. We're on our fourth edition or fifth edition right now. We have hard copies and we have our online version. And the online version, basically, our content, we try to keep non-financial, but more lifestyles. And let's see if I have a few copies here of our hard copies. This was, this is our last edition, which talks about private aviation and the growth. Was our first one that we, which was focused on yachts, and so it's again a great way if you have good content. It's become something that a lot of people enjoy reading, and uh, going back to products and services. We instead of doing the private events that we've done for so many years, we do webinars now, like I'm doing, and webinars are much more efficient. Now, granted, you don't have that kind of that more intimate setting, but my bandwidth is much, much larger. I think there's about 400 or 500 people on this call right now, or this webinar right now, versus if I did an event, maybe there would be 25 to 30 people. So if you're trying to raise money, and again, I don't care if it's a private company, a venture capital fund, a opportunity zone product, you're going to have more eyeballs, and more eyeballs, just creates more traction. The investment clubs we went over, FON, the membership, basically by joining our network, you get access to all this for free. Meaning you get access to do searches on the high net worth investors, the family offices. If you have a product you want to list, you can list that. FON real estate, and again, we only deal with ultra high end products and services, or excuse me, on real estate, very high end homes for either vacations or for buying and selling. Now, going back to just the home here, what drives the traffic to Marketplace is our message board. And I can't express enough about our message board. Our message board basically is accurate, meaning that that when we speak to a family office or a high net worth investor, and they say that they're actively looking to invest in biotech, we'll put that message on our message board, and everyone can see this, but the members of our network get to see who the underlying family is. we'll have about 15 or so a day, every day. So, for example, that British multifamily office, has 150 million to invest in logistics, and now when you click on it, you can see, and this actually was myself who spoke to them, that this information was verbally confirmed on 820, and this was actually myself. So the fact that these are 100% accurate, occasionally, we'll get uh, occasional one will slip by, but for the most part, these are accurate. These are people that I'm speaking to, or someone on my staff is speaking to. And if they are actively looking to allocate money, we put it on our message board. Now, again, the members of our network or our platform get to see who this British family office is, and then they can contact them directly. I have in green basically the allocators. And again, every one of these are real. We also have messages, for example, Family Office Network. We just sold part of our company to Canaccord Genuity. They're the second largest bank in Canada, and I believe the largest investment bank. They made an investment in us about a year and a half, and they just increased their equity stake about a month and a half ago. So the message board is really for the whole community um, to put your own messages, and it could be really anything from news to job postings where we get a family office that's looking to hire a CFO. Now that will be put, on our message board. But for the most part, this is a great way if you are a broker dealer, RIA, someone that works with multiple, we'll say clients, this is a great way to get warm leads because they've given us permission. We have verbally confirmed that that it is accurate, and this is the advantage of being a member on our platform. The other things that we mentioned are the webinars that we're doing. So, for example, we're doing this cannabis event. I'm not sure if this, well, I believe this one already took place, but we probably do, I think, 2 to 3 webinars a week, so that basically the entire community can see, which webinars we're doing and for who, and they can sign up. And to kind of just wrap this up here, to register, you could you can join Marketplace, and again, I encourage everyone to register because this way you can see the questions that we're asking, and this is how we get the information that we have. Because one of the biggest questions we'll get is, is this information accurate, especially on the high net worth investors, and where did we get this information? How often do we update it? And so, in regards to where we get the information, these are people that have come to us, that filled out these long registration forms that I personally created, and and again, after they fill it out, someone from my staff personally gives them a call to verify the information. And then if they mention, well, we're actively looking, to buy a yacht or to charter a plane, we put that on the message board. And the message board is really what creates the traffic because, we keep adding, let's say, 15 or so a day. The majority are different kind of investment mandates, if you will. Um, so, with that being said, I think I've covered most of everything. The accounts, and everyone has their own account. Um, you're going to, when you register, it's going to ask you what industries are you interested in. And so based on that, when someone logs in, they're always going to have different offerings. So when I registered for myself, I'm an art collector. I'm interested in biotech and not so we'll always have different viewings so that each person that logs in, it will cater to what their specific objectives and goals are. We'll also feature new listings anytime a new listing is put up, and and then you're able to change your investment preferences. So if you want more information on space exploration or software, anything that comes out, it will it will start sending those to you. So hopefully I covered enough, and I would be happy to answer any questions if um, um, if anyone has.
Andrew, thank you so much. Great job. Yes, again, we do encourage questions now. So by submitting your questions, just use your questions chat option on your screen, and I will read those questions aloud so Andrew can answer them accordingly. We'll just dive right in. So first question is from Chris. He asks, how much of the data relates to non-US family offices and high net worth individuals?
Okay, great question. We're about 70% domestic, 30% global, but probably over the next 2 to 3 years, that will probably level out where we'll be about 50% domestic. We'll always have a little more domestic because that's where we are, and versus global, but it's a big world out there. In regards to part two of the question, the high net worth, to me, the high net worth are the most valuable part of this plan because anyone can go buy a list of family offices. But when you contact these family offices on our platform, you will see that they know us. They know us personally. They've worked with us in some capacity. That is one of the biggest differences between what I've built here and what other groups have created.
Perfect, thank you. Next question from Lee. Do you get involved with any litigation finance?
Yeah, that is a interesting asset class. I personally have raised money for several litigation funds, and for those of you that don't know what that is, basically you have law firms that take on some of these big class action lawsuits or some other big cases, and basically you're helping fund the law firm, so that typically there'll be a big settlement or something, and it's truly a market neutral or zero correlation to the market as a whole. So I do like that, call it asset class.
Perfect. Next question from June. She would like to know pricing.
Pricing. Okay. It really depends on how much exposure you want. We have our basic pricing at 15 to 25,000 for a membership, but that's predicated on if you want 2 or 3 webinars included in your membership. If you want to be featured in our magazine, we have a weekly newsletter that goes out, one on family offices and one on luxury. So what we try to do is first assess, who the potential client is and what is the best way that we can get them in front of our network, and then from there, and we could really customize. And I think customizing is the best way to work with us.
Perfect. Next question from Catherine Hill. How much due diligence do you do on companies or charities?
Okay, so due diligence, the The family offices we work with have the infrastructure to do their own due diligence. We do more of just a cursory type of due diligence, but we do not do a full due diligence, and we always tell people to please, speak to a professional to help. As we're simply doing is taking information and then we're displaying it on our site. We are not verifying the accuracy of it. Now, we've been pretty good and have not had any issues, but again, I always recommend people to always go and do whatever due diligence is needed.
Perfect. Rachel would like to know, can philanthropy advisors join the FON Marketplace?
Absolutely. And, as I mentioned, philanthropy has been one of the many industries that have been affected tremendously by coronavirus. And, philanthropies, and we've been working with them for many years. Family offices typically are the biggest donors to philanthropies. And based on that, this is a perfect place to list your charity or philanthropy. Not only that, we can feature in our magazine, in our newsletters. We also have a separate website, fonphilanthropy.com.
Perfect. Alex would like to know if you provide or have access to the charitable contributions made by the family office.
We do to some extent, but that's something that we will have a better we'll have a lot more data as time goes along.
And Margaret is asking, can introductory investment companies also sign up, and what is the fee?
Sorry, introductory. Say
investment companies. So I'm thinking maybe startup companies potentially
so
might be the question.
yeah, so this is the perfect platform for startup companies because again, if if I was in a startup company raising money, I would go right after the high net worth because you stand a much better chance. Typically, they are the decision maker, and in my opinion, somewhat of a qualified numbers game. And doing this over 20 plus years, good products tend to raise money because we have real distribution, real relationships, and so if it's a good product, most likely you will have success on our platform.
Perfect. Next question is from Eric Ball. If a venture fund joins and offers direct coin investment into portfolio companies, would each company be listed separately from the fund?
That's a great question. Yeah, we could certainly do that, and I would encourage to do that because you may have, and again, this is when I speak with high net worth investors, we always try to encourage them when we're dealing with VC to put money into a fund versus individual deals, unless they have the infrastructure to do their own due diligence. So we always push them towards the fund. But you have plenty of groups that like to invest in individual deals. So, we can put both the fund and all the individual deals on the platform.
Great. Joshua would like to know, does Marketplace contain insight into which family office / high net worth individuals are looking to deploy capital into which sectors?
Yes. So that goes right back to our message board. And basically, you're going to see this updated every day. I apologize that we have all the data. I just didn't get a chance before this call to update our message board. But the message board is the ones that are actively looking to deploy capital. If it's not on the message board does not mean that they don't want to deploy capital now. It's just a little more legwork on the issuer company's end.
Perfect. Ryan is asking, how many capital raises are typically taking place on the marketplace, and what is the average size?
Okay, so in regards to capital raises, we could have sometimes 50 to 100 going on at any time. Whether they have success or not, that's a different story. The average size investment, there's so many different variables. Is it are we talking $500 million fund, or is it a startup? Obviously larger issuers, and again, could be anything from a real estate fund to a venture capital fund. Typically, on the high net worth side, from what I've seen, it's typically 1 to 5 million. On the family office side, it's a little higher than that, but most importantly, these are people that typically add to their investment. So they'll start with something smaller, and I would say about more than 50% of them actually, add to their current position.
Great. Next question is from Stephen Chick. Canaccord Genuity is a great partner. Can you discuss their banking and what role they have with FON, and how can you discuss the planned use of funds for their last investment?
Sure. So Canaccord has been an absolute pleasure to work with. They have a great reputation, and they've got access to great deal flow. They've got an incredible research product called Quest, and any member of our network gets a access to this research product from Canaccord called Quest, and it allows you to look up companies and I'll let someone from Canaccord explain the product better than I can. And part two to the question, in the use of proceeds, it was to build out this platform that you're currently looking at. And when I say build it out, where basically you can execute these transactions online, and we've never advertised or we're very fortunate that we're in an industry that we have very little, if no competition at all. And I want to be careful how I say that, but I don't know any other companies that are doing what we do, which is having both a media part as well as a broker dealer, and we'll say banking part, as well as a technology platform. And so Canaccord has been a great partner to work with you. And for those that do not know Canaccord, they are a publicly traded company. They're a broker dealer and an RIA. And after this webinar, I'd be happy to introduce anyone to Canaccord, as they are truly just a great firm to work with.
Thank you. Next question, how many investors would I be connected with within a 3-month period if I was listed on the platform as an issuer?
Well, the way we work with issuers is, I don't believe just listing a product on our platform is enough to actually get funded. So what we do for all new members is we'll make at least 100 or so personal introductions. And that's usually me making the personal introductions I make. I give you all the background and color on, like, let's say it's the O'Boyle family office. They're a local family office in West Palm Beach, and on average, they put 3 to 5 million in deals. They put money, I think, in 4 or 5 different deals that we've shown them in the last year and a half, and and they have 3 kids, and one of the children, has a full-time, focus on a different philanthropy. Another one of the kids doesn't get involved at all in the family business. And again, I try to give as much color as possible on the investor that we're introducing, so that you never know where you may have other synergies. So outside of the personal introductions, we also do a webinar as well as have your fund listed. Now, also, what we do is, let's just say it's a venture capital fund. When somebody signs up on our site and mentions they're interested in venture capital, when they log in, that fund will be shown just like the way it is on my account when I log in. Um, you know, it will be under matched offerings. So if you check off that you're interested in venture capital, every time you log in, we're going to have different venture capital funds or deals. And basically, this is kind of our own algorithm that we've created.
Great. Let's see. Rachel's asking, are membership fees the same for nonprofits as for profit companies?
Yeah, yes, they are.
Perfect.
And let me just the reason why is the same amount of work, and a lot of it's really the heavy lifting is done in the beginning, because we're going to do the same thing with a charity as we do with a issuer. We're going to still make those 100 or so personal introductions. But we have more tentacles that we can use, such as our magazine, such as we can feature it on our different websites, our newsletter. We have FON philanthropy.com. So, it's there's a lot of different ways, and the more exposure we get you, the better chance you will have in getting funded or funds.
Great. Aiden is asking, there are many other family office groups out there. Why are you better and why are you different?
Well, so when we say other family office groups, I don't really know anyone that competes directly with us. There's some family office groups that would throw large events. We don't do that. Our background and my team, we're fundraisers. We raise money. This is what I've been doing my entire career. Um, the these, and again, I'm not sure which groups you're talking. Other groups provide more educational content. We do as well, but our main business is fundraising, as well as luxury products and services, and our technology platform. I don't know of any other family office technology platform.
Fantastic. Next question. We are doing a healthcare roll-up in the United Kingdom and currently fundraising. How active, how active are your member family offices and high net worth individuals in this sector and country?
Okay, so London, I would say, probably outside of Israel, is our second largest, and Canada are probably the 3 largest areas that we have that are outside the U.S. In regards to a healthcare roll-up, um, I would say there's a good chunk of our members that are interested in healthcare, biotech, life sciences. It's something that me personally, I've had a life-changing experience. I had heart failure 14 years ago, where I lost 90% of my heart. I was put on a heart transplant list, and I was given 30 days to live. And it's been 14 years, and so when it comes to anything healthcare related, that's something I typically personally get involved with. So that's the one industry that we've probably had more success than most other groups that I know.
Great. And we do only have time for a few more questions. But next question is, I look at investment opportunities and I sometimes raise capital for my own deals. Where would I fit in?
So, there's a lot of family offices that we work with have sometimes dual agendas. And what I mean by that is they are actively looking for investment opportunities, but they're also sometimes raising money for their own deal. And they're looking from us to introduce them to some other families that can co-invest. Where if by retaining us, we're not going to give you 200 separate investors. If you're raising, for example, 20 million, we're perfect at getting you 4 to 5 investors that would each put up a few $1 million. And in regards to the platform, we would list the offering right in our offering section, and it would also be on our message board. And you're also going to get our personal introductions.
Great. So last question, it looks like, does Family Office Networks have a lot of different nonprofits on the platform looking to raise donations?
We've seen a tremendous growth since the coronavirus, and because again, with the conditions the way they are right now, charities and foundations typically that have been known to do these big galas and big balls um, are kind of left at the altar now. And how do we get funding, and how do we get more donors? So I'm sure there's some other philanthropy sites out there, but because we have the distribution and we have the personal relationships, we can feature it again in our magazine, in our newsletter, on our philanthropy website, and many more.
Perfect, thank you. And there were a few questions asking if this was a recorded webinar or if we could follow up with you after this is finished. And both of the answers are yes. Someone from the Family Office Networks team will be following up with all of you individually to see if you had any other questions. I know Andrew would be more than happy to speak with all of you as well. We thank you all for joining us. Andrew, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
I would like to just say one more thing. For those that are trying to raise money, it's something I've been doing again for over 20 plus years. Raising money is hard enough just to begin with, and we know that. So, by doing a number of different things, such as putting you on the message board, listing your offering online, making the personal introduction. Sometimes we don't know where that money's going to come from or who's going to be interested. The webinars that we've been doing, our goal is to get you in front of qualified people. We don't sell your product for you. We get you in front of qualified people that have expressed an interest. And again, most importantly, have given us permission to be able to make those introductions. So again, if you're out there trying to raise money and spending a lot on your marketing budgets, we are the most efficient and effective way of getting you in front of those qualified investors. And again, we don't sell the underlying product. What we do is get you in front of the right groups that have expressed.
Great, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us today. And again, last time to all of our attendees for signing on, we thank you all, and we will be in touch with all of you. We hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.